Welcome back to Dark Screen Confessions. Story 1. The Fake Promotion. Some people steal credit, some people lie, and some people get exactly what they deserve. Today's story is about a co-worker who spent 2 years taking credit for other people's work, until one small mistake destroyed everything. Let's begin. When I joined the company, I was assigned to work under a senior employee named Ryan. At first, Ryan seemed friendly, helpful, professional, the kind of co-worker everyone wanted on their team. It took me about 3 months to realize he was a fraud. Every project meeting followed the same pattern. I would do the research, I would build the reports, I would prepare the presentations. Then, Ryan would walk into the meeting and present everything as if he had done it himself. At first, I assumed management knew the truth. Surely they could see who was actually doing the work. I was wrong. Ryan was extremely good at one thing: taking credit. For nearly 2 years, he built a reputation using other people's accomplishments, mine included. Every promotion, every bonus, every compliment from upper management, Ryan received them, not me. One day, the company announced a new management position. The promotion came with a huge raise. Everyone knew Ryan wanted it. He wouldn't stop talking about it. For weeks, he bragged about how qualified he was, how leadership already loved him, how the job was practically guaranteed. A few days before the final interview, I discovered something interesting. Ryan had copied an entire strategic proposal from one of my old presentations, word for word. Even worse, he planned to present it to executives as his own original idea. I could have reported him. Instead, I had a better idea. The proposal Ryan stole contained a hidden spreadsheet. Most people never noticed it. The spreadsheet tracked all edits made to the document, including names, dates, times, and authors. I quietly updated the file, not the proposal itself, just the edit history. Then I waited. The day of the interview arrived. Executives gathered in the conference room. Ryan walked in smiling, confident, certain that his promotion was already secured. Everything went smoothly for the first 15 minutes. Then, one executive asked a simple question. "Can you explain how this proposal evolved over time?" Ryan froze. He wasn't expecting that. The executive opened the edit history, and there it was. Every change, every author, every timestamp. My name appeared hundreds of times. Ryan's appeared twice. The room became very quiet. One executive looked directly at Ryan. "So, you're telling us this is your work?" Ryan started sweating. He tried explaining. He tried blaming software errors. He tried claiming multiple people collaborated. Nobody believed him. The interview ended early, very early. The following week, the promotion was announced. Ryan didn't get it. In fact, he was removed from several major projects. Management launched an internal review. Within a month, they discovered years of similar behavior. Apparently, I wasn't the only person he had been stealing from, not even close. 3 months later, Ryan resigned. His reputation was gone. His career at the company was over. The best part? Nobody ever knew I helped expose him. As far as everyone else was concerned, Ryan destroyed himself. All I did was make sure the truth was visible. Sometimes revenge isn't about hurting someone. Sometimes it's about removing the mask and letting everyone see who they really are. Story 2. The stolen lunch. Our next story is about a workplace mystery that lasted nearly 3 months until the thief got caught in the most embarrassing way possible. Let's begin. I work in a large office with over 100 employees. Like most offices, we had a communal refrigerator in the break room. And like most offices, we had a lunch thief. At first, it was small things: a yogurt, a soda, a snack. Then entire meals started disappearing. People complained constantly. Management sent emails reminding everyone to respect their co-workers' property. Nothing changed. Then it became personal. Every Friday, I brought homemade lasagna prepared by my grandmother. Every Friday, it disappeared. After the 4th stolen lunch, I was furious. The strange thing was that nobody ever saw the thief. It became an office legend. Everyone complained. Nobody knew who was responsible. One weekend, I came up with a plan. I bought an extremely spicy hot sauce. Not normal spicy, the kind of hot sauce that comes with warning labels, the kind people use for internet challenges. The following Friday, I prepared my usual lasagna. Then, I added enough hot sauce to make it nearly inedible. I placed it in the refrigerator and waited. Around noon, I heard coughing. Then more coughing, then what sounded like someone fighting for their life. Everyone looked toward the break room. Out stumbled Greg from accounting. His face was bright red, tears streamed down his cheeks. He was desperately drinking milk straight from the carton. The entire office watched in silence. Someone asked what happened. Greg accidentally revealed everything. Between coughs, he admitted he had eaten someone else's lunch. Again. The room erupted. Apparently, Greg had been stealing lunches for months. Management wasn't amused. Within a week, he received a formal disciplinary warning. More importantly, nobody's lunch ever disappeared again. As for me, I finally got to enjoy my lasagna in peace. Sometimes, revenge doesn't require a trap. Sometimes, all it takes is letting a thief steal exactly what they asked for. Story 3. The Neighbor's Leaf Blower. Our final story tonight involves a neighbor who believed the entire neighborhood should operate according to his schedule. Unfortunately for him, the neighborhood disagreed. Let's dive in. I lived in a quiet suburban neighborhood for nearly 10 years. Everything was peaceful. Until Mark moved in next door. Mark had one hobby: using his leaf blower every single morning at exactly 5:30 a.m. Weekdays, weekends, holidays, it didn't matter. The machine would start roaring before sunrise. The worst part? There were rarely any leaves to blow. Sometimes he spent an hour blowing the same patch of driveway. The entire neighborhood hated it. People complained. People asked politely. People argued. Nothing worked. Mark always claimed he had every right to do it. Technically, he did. Local noise regulations allowed outdoor equipment after 5 a.m., and Mark loved reminding everyone of that fact. One summer, Mark left for a 2-week vacation. Before leaving, he bragged about finally taking a break from all the whiny neighbors. That gave us an idea. You see, Mark was obsessed with maintaining a perfect lawn. Obsessed. The slightest imperfection drove him crazy. So while he was gone, several neighbors worked together, Every day, carefully, legally. We placed hundreds of small decorative garden flamingos across his yard. Pink flamingos, large flamingos, tiny flamingos, everywhere. By the end of 2 weeks, his property looked like a flamingo convention. The day Mark returned, the neighborhood gathered quietly from our windows. His reaction did not disappoint. He stood frozen in his driveway, completely speechless. Then, he spent nearly 4 hours removing every single flamingo. The local homeowners association found it hilarious. The story spread across the neighborhood. For months, people gifted Mark flamingo decorations as jokes. Flamingo birthday cards, flamingo lawn ornaments, flamingo welcome mats. Eventually, Mark got the message. The 5:30 a.m. leaf blower sessions stopped. Not completely, but they moved to a much more reasonable hour. To this day, whenever someone mentions flamingos, Mark changes the subject immediately. Sometimes revenge isn't loud. Sometimes it's bright pink and impossible to ignore. Dark screen confessions, where secrets never stay buried.